Okay. Now I go to Facebook. Nothing's on my mind.
So,
Well, this is where the shit hits the fan. Okay.
this is a video about change. A topic I typically don't like to discuss because thanks, I hate it. It's about the bizarre kind of change. Like my Luddite father finally getting on Facebook so that he could sell stuff on Marketplace and no other reason. And it's also about the sadder kind of change. But mostly it's about what it feels like to go home after you've been stuck behind your screens for the better part of a year and some change. And I know this may not be you. I had a brave and direct commenter leave a request recently that I stop referring to the world as opening up when a majority of humanity is still very much living in the middle of this pandemic vaccine sandwich. And you know what? They're right. I sincerely apologize. I hate coming across as the type of American who thinks that the US is at the center of the earth. Ew. Hopefully at some point we'll all get to go home or back to a place that feels deeply familiar. I want everyone to experience the chance to leave the sedentary sits of 2020, if only for a little while. This is a brief vlog, a come back home with me style video where I show you my hometown and some of my old haunts. And oh hey, I brought my little boyfriend because yeah, I was anxious about this trip to be quite frank, and you know, Patrick's just good at everything, like literally everything, so of course I had to bring my ace. When you do get on a plane, it's going to feel weird. The airport was chaos because in certain parts of the US, traveling is really starting to kick back up, and I think that we're all adjusting to being human en masse again. Like obviously, I haven't been in a crowd in a long time, and a person simply doesn't go from pandemic to, oh yes, I'm totally comfortable standing in your breath again, sir. Home for me is Atlanta, Georgia. I grew up in DeKalb County, which, and hold on, how come when I Google it, all I get are map images and like pictures of some police people? Damn. How about scenery? If I type in, okay, well there we go. I mean, at least that's prettier. Still a lot of images of Stone Mountain since it's the giant elephant in the room and also like the giant rock face randomly in Atlanta, I'll just tell you that Stone Mountain is a tourist destination where they decided to carve the likeness of Confederate soldiers as a memorial to the incorrect side of history. Okay, I don't really want to take any more time talking about Georgia's racist roots because that video would take a year long, like 8,760 hours long.
Thousands of tears later.
Anyway, this is about me now in my story.
Yeah.
Are you excited to go where?
To heaven.
Why?
Because I haven't been here in 18 months.
This is probably the only time you'll see my mom on camera. She doesn't want to be on camera much anymore, which is another example of how much things have changed. Mom used to love vlogging with me, but nowadays she's more shy. She's had some pretty radical surgeries in the past year, but you know what, dude? She's still here, and she can go to Target with me, and for that, I am endlessly grateful. I have some friends who've lost their parents this year, and well, I mean, this is the change that I keep referencing. I know this isn't a novel thought, but everything is different from what it was back in 2019. I mean, the last time I was home in Atlanta was September 2019, and I guess I was hoping that this place would be like the constant, like the anchor point, unaffected by the absolute international nonsense of 2020, but my dudes, it's not. It's really weird working from my older brother's bedroom floor. I'm about to get into a meeting for something that I'm trying to produce. I'm pretty excited about, and I'm just trying to switch my brain into Hollywood brain. I'm also incredibly compartmentalized right now. I feel like when a parent has cancer, when you come home, you just want to focus on the good. And there are things that are definitely happening that I have thoughts and feelings about, but I'm just, letting them sit on top of my chest until I get on the plane. These little moments when I get to go outside and go for like a little walk around the neighborhood it reminds me of being a teenager, right? Because my parents were really strict growing up and they wouldn't let me leave, go out with friends. Like all of these shows where teenagers are allowed to go to like coffee shops and shit by themselves, that was never me. So walking around the neighborhood was my release, was my escape. And here we are, 20 years later, and it's still my escape. But some things are the same. Like the battle of the blinds my mom and I get into every time that we stay at her house. She has these big, beautiful windows in her home that fill her home with natural and, dare I say, necessary light, but no, she prefers the blinds closed. And then there's all the Amish art my mom has purchased over the years. There was a time in my youth where my house cornered the market on the Amish art and rooster decal aesthetic. It's very, very niche. And you know what? Some of that aesthetic still remains. There were always sports or Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman on the TV. And somehow, no matter how many times I go home, there are always still rooms that need to be cleaned out. You see, the thing that I grapple with every time that I go home is that I am my parents' adult daughter now. And I feel that now more than ever before. My parents depended on me for a lot of things in the past year. And yeah, I'll say it felt good. It feels good to be an adult. To be like the boss bitch, taking care of everything. However, when I go home, I still feel a little bit like baby. Another thing that makes me a little bit like baby is that I, a 32-year-old woman, put on pretend dance rehearsals for myself in my backyard. You heard me. Now, y'all know I like dancing for an audience of me, but recently a friend turned me on to Steezy, and bitch, let me show you something. Yeah, that's right. I'm taking jazz dance classes because I'm excited. I'm excited to return to my dance roots. And I know if I'm going to return to traditional dance with like choreography and everything, I need to review the foundations of dance, which are, for a lot of people, ballet, contemporary jazz. And lucky enough for me, I have a new membership to a dance platform called Steezy that I just really want to take a second to talk to you about. Yes, Steezy is sponsoring this week's video, but I'm gonna be real with you. You don't want to skip over this ad because I have a little dance I want to show to y'all. I got moves, y'all, and I've been working really hard. Let's take a jazz class. Steezy is a platform that puts the best dance learning tools at your fingertips through easy-to-follow classes taught by the world's most sought-after choreographers. Recently, Steezy rolled out the foundational Intro to programming for 3 new dance styles: ballet, jazz, and contemporary, with a mission to break down the long-standing, non-inclusive barriers of these art forms. While these types of dance formats are typically taught at expensive dance studios and academies, Steezy's robust intro programs are affordable, virtual, and designed for adults getting started for the first time. So it's a workout. One of the things I love about pole dancing specifically is that you learn as an adult. Like if you think about like traditional dancers, people have been doing it since they were children. And so sometimes it can be really hard as an adult to break into these models or to take just an intro to these classes. So that's why I'm really excited, because I haven't taken a jazz class since college and I've forgotten so much about the form and the technique. My body has gotten so out of touch with it that these intro classes are so helpful. Another thing that I love about Steezy is just how easy they make it for you to learn. They've got different camera angles. You can slow it down to half speed, quarter speed, 0.15 speed. You can move the camera all around. You can zoom in. You can look at how the teacher's doing it. It's really personalized and kind of tailored to how you learn how to dance. I've been practicing my jazz classes at my pole dance studio, but I've also been able to do it at home, which is cool. I find myself practicing like my pony step in the shower and stuff. It's pretty cute, you guys.
I think I might be ready to show off my Steezy dance.
I cannot recommend Steezy enough. It has brought me so much joy in lockdown, so check it out for yourself at steezy.com. My trip home lasted about 7 days, and then I had to go back home to California. Pat and I had to go back to work, and we were also very afraid that if we stayed in the South any longer, we might eat our body weight in barbecue and ranch dressing and then never leave. However, this trip was memorable because it was the first one back. The first time I got to hug my mom and dad after Zoom calls and FaceTimes for an entire year.
Hey, Mr. Lytle. Good to see you. Mrs. Lytle, so lovely to see you. It's finally time. How you doing, man?
Because that ordinary moments like cleaning out the basement and shopping trips to Target felt monumental. It makes sense though, if you think about it. We've been living in casual life or death stakes, just hanging out in the back of our minds for like a while, and going home has made me realize how much has changed. It made me realize how lucky I am to have the privilege to return home and hug loved ones. And it pushed me to reflect on how incredible it is that I'm actually here to witness the change. Whether you're rushing home or rushing out of your home as soon as the pandemic fog lifts a little bit, I hope you get a chance to feel the happy part of change. I hope you're pleasantly surprised with how easily you can slide back into conversations and situations that you left off when this global pandemic started. And I hope that it makes you feel, well, better.